Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome everyone to AireSpring's 2025 State of the Channel Industry Roundtable. I'm thrilled to be hosting it for the fifth consecutive year. This roundtable was created to spark meaningful conversations about where the industry is headed, and more importantly, how we can navigate this path together. So each year we bring together some of the most influential voices in the channel, and this year is no exception. As the channel continues to evolve with AI technology influencing private equity activity and shifting partner dynamics, the role of the TSD has become very complex and very involved and challenging. But we're honored to once again have an exceptional panel of leaders joining us today. Renee Bergeron, Chief Operating Officer of AppDirect, Andrew Leidecker, President of AVANT Communications, Paul Constantine, Executive Vice President of Supplier Services at Intelisys ScanSource, Justin Morano, Chief Revenue Officer of Sandler Partners, and of course, Adam Edwards, CEO of Telarus. And moderating the discussion today is Executive Director of Channel Futures, Craig Galbraith, who is a long-time expert of the channel and supporter of the channel. But before we begin, I want to introduce someone who's been a supporter of this event since day one, and that's Avi Lonstein's AireSpring CEO. Avi, would you like to say a few words?
All right, thank you, Ellen, so much. And welcome, everyone. As you know, this is an exciting moment where we have all of the top industry leaders for our industry all together in one virtual room. The marketing team did produce some words that they wanted me to say, but I'm really going to ditch that. And I want to take a moment here just to really look back and take a look at this. Has been our fifth year of doing this roundtable. And I think we can all agree as an industry how far we continue to evolve and how much we have changed. And frankly, how big this industry has become, the indirect channel. And I can tell you it is in no small part to the individuals who you'll hear from today. They are the leaders who have driven forward and reimagined and really remade the indirect channel, which has now become, honestly, the leading go-to-market strategy for every major company out there, whether they're in telecom, security, you name it. So I really appreciate every one of these individuals who've joined us here today. When we take a look at 10, 15 years of how things have changed, we can all agree that this industry is in a whole different place. And so I think you're going to find today's conversation enlightening, and usually there's always something interesting that comes out of it. So I'm not going to take up any more time other than to say thank you for joining us. And we look forward to, and me too, what we're going to hear next. So with that said, I'm going to turn it back to Ellen and Craig.
Thank you, Avi. Well, I think you said enough to start and kick it off. So Craig, I'm turning it over to you.
All right, Ellen, on behalf of myself and Channel Futures, a big thank you to you, Avi, and the AireSpring team for inviting me to moderate today. I'm super excited to talk to these guys. Let's start with a question that I'll throw out to all of you to get a chance to jump in and weigh in on, and that's around the evolution of the tech services distributor. I'm curious to learn what each of you thinks has been the most important change over the past 5 years, and what is the role of the TSD today? That moniker has really kind of only been around for a few years now. We've seen different vendors change what they call themselves as this evolution has taken place. How is your company defining and differentiating itself? Give yourselves each a shot at this. And Renee, ladies first.
Well, thank you. And Avi, lots of pressure. We have to be enlightening in our comments. So we're up for the task. Yes. So I guess the first answer is, of course, we are a TSD. But the word TSD is, I think, evolved on itself, right? From maybe telecom to technology. service distribution. And I think that all of us have had to constantly reinvent ourselves. That's why we're still here after 5 years. If we didn't, I think we would go by the way of Kodak. So we've come a long way from just giving access to vendor to playing a much greater role and helping the partners in winning the business. For us specifically, it's bringing technology so that our advisors can be more productive, they can be informed, and they can focus on their customers and solving their problem. It's also in a broad catalog of solutions so that they can cross-sell and really be an end-to-end providers. And then I think it's also in the technology lifecycle journey, because at the end of the day, we focus on making sure the end customer is satisfied with the technology, because that will drive loyalty, and that's what our advisors want.
Excellent. Drew, how about you and Avant?
Yeah, it's constantly changing, and I think we're one of the younger ones here in the group, and in our 15 years of existence, it's been remarkable. And to Avi's point, in the last 5 years, it's been dramatic. From us, we've always looked at ourselves as a platform for the next generation trusted advisor movement. We were a big part in changing the name from Agent. We were just joking before the call, the days of Phone Plus magazine. A lot has changed since then. And what we've seen is just this massive growth. And, our role and responsibility is educating really the enterprise community on the power of the trusted advisor and how they truly are the ones who can navigate the choice that every customer is facing today. And I think the biggest change that I've seen, at Avant is being a part of that process. The majority of our company is all customer facing with our tools, our research and analytics, our engineering bench, our data scientists, everything that we're producing is to really, like Renee just mentioned, make that impact with the end customer, that they have the best experience possible in this radically different world that will continue to keep changing over the next couple of years.
Great. Adam, how about Telarus?
Sure. First, let me start with something that doesn't change. Fundamentally, what people forget often is the reason we were created or came into existence was an insurance product to make sure advisors continue to get paid. Because they're not resellers, they often got cut off, and it was devastating. It destroyed businesses, harmed families. And so TSDs just came about as a result of advisors banding together. Often that's not thought about until there's a bankruptcy. And so that, while it's removed from our minds and is not thought about, that is a fundamental value that continues on today and is every bit as important today, sometimes not spoken about, but that doesn't change. I'll tell you, one of the things that has changed dramatically is our supplier, what we call vetting, sorting, and grading. 5 years ago, there were far fewer suppliers in the industry, and they increasingly are beating a path to our doors saying, hey, we want to sell through this market. They recognize the value of it. But the challenge then becomes educating those suppliers, making sure we're vetting them and letting the right ones in and not letting the wrong ones in. And the existing, we've got such changes in leadership. We're spending tremendous amounts of time educating those leaders, not just the channel chief, but helping the C-levels understand. And so creating an environment where the advisor can thrive. There's a lot of work that's going on in the background. Now, in the foreground, I think as some of the others have said, because you've got this expansion of products and opportunity, what comes next is education, engineering, those things where it's all about understanding what the supplier can do and fitting it with what the customer needs. That has become much more difficult over the last 5 years. So while it's a great opportunity expanding, it's also becoming more complex. And the TSD is in a role where we must educate suppliers. We must create awareness among advisors who are very busy selling and need to learn about new products. So how do we put them in front of or fit them with the right one? And then it's educating the customer on the model. So there's a lot of education that is taking place on multiple fronts, and the TSD is stepping up and doing that right now.
Absolutely. Justin, over to you.
Yeah, so a lot of it's what's been said already, right? I don't think that's changed in terms of being the tip of the sword when it comes to technology, making sure that we're out there keeping our eyes and ears open, looking for newer providers, newer technologies that our trusted advisors could leverage to be that evangelist for their customers. But to expand even upon what Adam said, education is definitely a huge part of it, and education of the providers in terms of setting expectations on how to lean into the channel, how to support the channel, how to lean into the partnership, what expectations should they have. I've run the committee internally that looks at where we are with existing negotiations, who else we should be looking at. On any given day, 3 to 4 providers are coming to us to get into our portfolio. And that vetting process needs to be very intensive. And running all that, what we've seen is there are bad actors out there on the provider side. There are companies that aren't committed to this relationship for the long term. So making sure that we're not letting those into the portfolio is a big part of what we do here every day.
All right, Paul, sorry, you're the last one to go. Everybody else talks, and somebody had to be last in this case.
That's fine with me. So, I've been in the Intelisys ecosystem and world now for almost 6 years. And I came out of the IT side of ScanSource and out of IT distribution in general. And having that perspective really was interesting to me as I came over here, and I really, I like to say 90% of it's the same, but the 10% of it that's different is really different. But even that 10% has become much more homogenous, if you will, with what I was used to in the IT distribution world. And I don't want to be redundant to what the rest of the folks said, because they're all spot on. I mean, we have to do a better job with supplier management today than we used to. We have evolved from a network and carrier centric organization to a cloud and SaaS and security centric organization. But what we've really seen over the last 5 years in the evolution of the TSD is really in routes to market. And helping partners, whether they're VARs or system integrators or MSPs that are used to reselling, whether it's helping them come over and show them, hey, look at all these things you can sell in the agent model, or it's agents that say, hey, I have an opportunity over here that's not an agency model, it's a resale model. There is so much crossover now compared to where, even 3 or 4 years ago, where our partner community that we all jointly serve has tremendous relationships with their end customers. And they've built this trust-based relationship with the end customer. And helping our partners take advantage of that trusted relationship that they have to expand what they do beyond what maybe their narrow vision of what their job was 5 years ago, and help them expand into new markets. And it's not just new suppliers and new technologies, it can be new ways to transact business. And to me, that's one of the biggest changes I've seen over the 5.5, 6 years that I've been on this side of the house.
All right, very good. Not to throw you guys a curveball right off the bat, but that's kind of what I do sometimes. To follow up on this discussion of evolution and your value propositions, despite some of this, Channel Futures increasingly hears some partners openly wonder aloud, do I really need these guys anymore? And why not go directly to the vendor? So when you hear that, especially maybe for some newbies in the channel, I'm curious how you explain that value proposition. And I'll sort of just open it up to any of you who might want to go on that.
Let me kick that off with just an anecdote. And it's a very current event anecdote. And so on my desk is a 22-page document. And it's in small font too, and it's 22 pages. And it is a data security certification project, really audit, that we have to provide back to one of our key suppliers. And I don't think there's a sales partner out there in the world that would want to undertake this kind of project. This is going to be weeks and weeks of work. It's extensive documentation. It's about internal controls. It's about processes. It's about security. It's about password management. It's about remote access. And the fact that we can do things like that for our partners so that they can just go out and be free to sell, I think is a tremendous value. And so there's just a small anecdote, and I could probably, and these guys probably have 20 other examples just like that. But we do those things behind the scenes so that our partners don't have to, and they're free to go out and sell and run their businesses.
Yeah, so some things that they might not think about. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I don't hear that very often, right? And I think when you do hear it, it often brings a smile to my face, because it's typically people that haven't been around and haven't seen what we've done to grow the channel to where we are today. I'm sure the others on this panel could say this as well. We've all moved tens of millions of dollars of bases that partners had direct to us because of the value that we bring. And these are sophisticated partners that have been around, that see and understand the value of what the TSD provides, whether it's strength of contract, whether it's commission assurance, or whether it's just not having to have a quota with that provider. Right. So the value is there. And I think for those that are even considering it, have the conversation with us before you do that, because we've all been around long enough, and we all have a little PTSD from some of the horror stories that we've heard over the years where partners have gotten the short end of the stick because they weren't with the TSD.
All right. So if you are seeing that, it's more from folks who are more new to the channel, probably. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else want to weigh in on that?
I mean, it's just something I don't see. I don't really hear that as much. This game that we're all in has become extremely sophisticated. You're seeing the businesses become more valuable. You're seeing clear lines of delineation between the TSD and the trusted advisor. And there is a tremendous amount of sophistication that goes in. I think the group has been echoing this, into vetting out vendors, into making sure that we bring in the right partners at the end of the day that are going to be here for the long term. And you're hearing about more wins than you're hearing about any scary or losses out there. We're out there constantly bringing in new providers, companies like Akamai, companies like, that a lot of people have never even heard of before, that have played in different circles of the channel. And what we're doing is constantly going out there, validating the movement, talking about how big the trusted advisor ecosystem is getting. And we have dedicated teams that are out there vetting these providers out and really showing that volume that Justin just mentioned. I mean, it's huge for us to be the advocate for the trusted advisor, securing the most stable contracts possible based on our size and scope. And the industry now, which used to be in the hundreds of millions, and Avi broke down even 5 years ago, to the billions now that are being generated by this group. That is instrumental for us to continue to keep finding new frontiers for the trusted advisor.
All right, very good. Let's move on. Some of you have spent some significant capital acquiring customer contracts from some smaller agencies, only to allow those same partners to continue to sell through some competing TSDs. So I'm curious, are you building value, or are you inviting attrition? And how do you ensure loyalty, protect your investment, and avoid becoming a pass-through platform? Renee, let's start with you on that.
Yeah, we've certainly completed a lot of acquisition. Latest one was announced this week, over 30 acquisitions just in the past few years. And to be honest, we really haven't seen attrition. In fact, when I look at the partners that we've acquired, they're leading the pack when it comes to growth. And there's a couple of common characteristics with these partners as they join the AppDirect community. And I think that drives a ton of loyalty. First of all, they're super excited to have access to a platform and a technology on which they can sell to their end customers. It's just a leading platform recognized by Forrester. And that's a game changer, because it also comes with hundreds of engineers that continue to evolve the platform. So that's the first thing I think that creates loyalty with them. The second one is the opportunity to expand into new categories. Most of them have been selling one or two categories of technology, and now they have the opportunity to expand into a breadth, whether it's SaaS, infrastructure as a service, or even energy, and a lot more. And then I think the third one is what I mentioned earlier, is our focus on the end customer experience. The ability to offer a unified experience to the end customer. They really view that as an ability to drive loyalty with their end customers and ensure their end customers buy their next technology through them. So to be honest, it's not been attrition, it's been growth.
Justin, what do you think about that?
So we have no plans to make any acquisitions. Um, the the programs we offer today, our commission purchase program and our deal buyout program and the bank of Sandler are there to help our partners either build and grow their business or bridge the gap to starting their own business. Um, in my career, I've never asked for exclusivity, and I think it needs to be earned every single day. You often do earn it by offering advantages that allow partners to grow their business, but nobody should be naive enough to think that it is business and you need to continue to earn that loyalty every single day.
All right, I want to talk more about M&A in just a minute. Let's talk about new sources of business. Last year, and Paul, I'll direct this question initially to you, of course, but ScanSource created an initial stir by announcing it would launch an agent subsidiary, then wound up acquiring Resourcive to get that going. Paul, maybe give us an update on how that's evolving. Then I'll open it up to the rest of you to discuss if you have any plans to add additional business entities like this in this manner, or buying more books of business from advisors. So, Paul, we'll start with you.
We created a stir.
You got it.
Oh, I'm shocked. No, I'll let it's the Resourcive team, I'll let them, they can tell their story. It's not my story to tell, but I can tell you how it's helped us on the Intelisys side. So now that we have Resourcive, and of course they roll up through a whole different segment in our business from a management perspective, it's really given us a lot of insight into the challenges, the day-to-day challenges of running and managing a TA business. And through the relationship that we have with them, we have really been able to see that here are the struggles and here are the challenges, here's the things that a TA needs from support from a TSD. And we've tailored processes around their feedback. We've adapted some of our tools and some of our IT investments around what we've learned from them. And when you have that intimate relationship that we now have with this company, with Resourcive, it's really helped guide our ability to provide value to the rest of our TSD channel in a much more emphatic way. It's one thing when we try to make a case that we need to do something to support our partners better. But when we have the Resourcive team that's sitting at the table also saying, yes, they need to do that because that would help us sell more. That helps us get the kind of investments we need. It helps us direct our investments into the right places. And it really helps us run a more effective TSD program for the rest of our TA channel. So that's really, from my perspective and from where I sit, the huge advantage in a place that we're far, far ahead on now compared to where we were a year ago prior to the Resourcive acquisition.
Yeah, Adam, I'd be curious to get your take. Is this anything similar that you guys are looking at? What do you think of what Intelisys and ScanSource have done?
No, what's interesting to me is that there's this, I referred to this before as this dynamism in the industry where there are all these experiments taking place, and the advisors are voting. Like, the advisors are voting on what suits them best. Do they want to be part of a larger organization? Do they want to, have a quota? Do they want to take some cash off the table? Do they want to remain independent? There's so many choices now, which I view as a positive. Like, that's what makes this the economy great is the competition of ideas, and that's what we're seeing right now. And so the advisors are voting. What we found in our experience is there are some advisors who want to be done. They want to hand off and be done, and we're happy for them. We'll make introductions. What we're about is the advisors that want to continue to grow. We want to help them get to the next level. What we have found is the capital programs we've put together can really be a boost to them. We used to just lend money. Hey, let's get you that new employee. Let's get you that new whatever it is. Let's because recurring businesses grow so slowly that to accelerate it takes front-loaded capital. What we found is we have a much better method through our capital program of helping an advisor maintain independence, take some capital, grow the business, take money off the table, whatever they want to do. What we've seen with our capital program is those that participate see their bookings grow by 40%, some up to 50%, because they have the wherewithal to go and hire and accelerate. It gets us excited because it goes back to our purpose. In terms of taking an interest or owning equity or having a subsidiary, that's something we're not going to do. We haven't done that. We're not going to do that. I'm happy that others are doing it because it gives partners an option, but it also lets the market speak of this is what says value to an advisor. This is what they're adopting.
Yeah, Drew, what's AVANT's roadmap look like in this area, if you can share?
We have been so outspoken about this. We are focused on our North Star, which is helping the trusted advisor movement grow, period. That is it. We will never muddy the waters. We don't want to have a gray area. We're definitely not looking at buying TAs to have other TAs help fund the expansion of that and be former or future competitors in any way. This space is exploding. It's a bit of a gold rush. We're signing 3 to 5 new TAs a day, every working business day. 50% of them are under 2 years old. They're brand new. And so, going back to the earlier points, we are hell-bent on education, on building resources that are customer focused and facing. We're out educating the enterprise community on the power of the trusted advisor movement. We think there needs to be a huge platform out there that is educating the world of enterprise customers that you don't need to do this alone. You don't need to do it in the way that you used to do it through the direct channel. Having a trusted advisor navigate the space of choice is absolutely paramount to your success. And the customers that are making this massive change internally are becoming more profitable. They're becoming better companies. And so we are laser focused on our North Star of growing the trusted advisor community, growing their businesses, educating them, and staying in our lane.
Hey, Paul, I just want to give you a chance to jump back in there because Drew mentioned sort of the competitive nature, and you guys have tried to stress that there isn't the competitive nature of having resources with other TAs out there.
Yeah, our intent is not for this to be competitive, although if there is competition, and I think we've got a track record now over the last 9 months to show that if we do find a TA that's an Intelisys TA in a competitive situation with Resourcive, that we're going to do the right thing and we're going to be fair. And we've got lots of partners who will testify to that. And, it's going to happen. We don't want to shy away from that. When we started this whole journey with the idea of acquiring a partner, we signaled it 6 months prior to actually doing anything to the market because we didn't want to take anyone by surprise. We wanted to be honest and transparent with the community that, hey, this is the path that we are choosing. It's going to benefit you down the road. We're going to learn about the intricate workings of your kinds of business. That's going to help us support you better. And if there's competition, we're going to always be fair. One of the words we say a lot around here is trust. And we know we have to earn it every day. We can't rely on past trust. We can't promise future trust. What we have to do is demonstrate it every day. And I think that the actions in the marketplace and the interactions with Resourcive and our partner community really bear that out.
All right, excellent. Let's get back into M&A a little bit. And Renee, a question specifically for you. I know you talked about acquisitions a little bit, but VCOM for IT spend management, AdCom's NOC, and View platform for managed services really signal a deeper move into areas that traditionally served by suppliers, MSPs, and some tech advisors themselves. So while these additions may enhance platform value, they can also perhaps raise the risk of channel conflict. So I'm curious how you balance platform innovation with partner enablement without encroaching on the very services your advisors and suppliers provide. What guardrails should be in place to protect trust and alignment in the channel? And I'll let you answer that first, and then we'll let some of the rest of the gang jump in if they want to.
Yeah, well, look, first and foremost, everything we do has a partner, an advisor attached to it, right? We don't go out and sell in the market direct. We sell with advisors. But ultimately, we believe in meeting the customers where they are. And we believe that's super important for our advisors. So, if you think about it, some customers want to contract and get invoiced by the brand name providers. And we respect that. And we support that business models with our referral business where we sell hundreds and hundreds of providers, including all the leading brand, including AireSpring, right? But some customers want the convenience of a single contract. They want the convenience of a single invoice, of a single support team. And very importantly, a single platform where they can access and service their technology subscription. And we also support that business model with our resale business. So when you think of some of the acquisition that we've made over the year, and more recently, if you take VCOM, for example, this strategic acquisition allows us to offer a single contract, a single invoice, a single platform, all with single sign-on access, identity management to a customer for their software and their connectivity and their spend management. I mean, this is truly differentiated in the market. So, you know, I think we see that as a differentiator. And we believe this is super important for advisors because not all customers will want to work directly with the providers. And so, you know, meeting the customer where they are is really a fundamental design behind what we offer.
All right. So aside from AireSpring or from AppDirect, I'm sorry, M&A and channel conflict and what Renee's talking about, anybody else have any thoughts on that? You've all been active in M&A over the years. Okay. Doesn't have to be. That's okay. All right. Let's move on then. Without getting into politics, but if you want to, it might be fun. Has the current economic climate created any challenges that you can see for your businesses and for your tech advisors? Justin, why don't we kick this off with you?
Yeah, thank you. Look, I've felt the channel has always thrived in times of economic downturn and uncertainty, and I don't think that is any different today. I think while some customers have hesitated on making decisions earlier this year, there are others that were forced to. But the opportunity with the partner continues to grow. So that benefits us.
All right. Anybody else? Drew, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, the market right now is super interesting, you know, and I think anybody kind of like not talking about the fact that big deals are probably sitting because they need more eyes on every signature and everybody's kind of holding on to see what's taking place in the market gives us an opportunity. I think the beauty of this channel and why it's become so incredibly valuable, both for the TAs and the TSDs alike, as well as the service providers, is that every market gives us a different opportunity. And right now, in a lot of ways, there's great market opportunities to save money. But I also believe that the trusted advisor is truly the architect of the future, meaning nobody can do connectivity better than us. Nobody can source data center better than us. And we are really in the midst of a revolution that is taking place right now. AI is here. It's embedded in a lot of the technologies that we're selling. Customers are completely confused. You've got some tough market conditions right now, but it's really allowing the trusted advisor to get that bigger seat at the table, to truly show their influence, to truly be that architect to set up the data, the network, the data center, all of the building blocks that will be absolutely crucial over the next few years. What we're seeing is just the biggest funnels we've ever seen in history of the company, a tremendous amount of opportunity creation and opportunities out there. We are seeing big deals kind of stall a little bit, but they're not going away. I think people are really just looking at the market conditions. Where we're winning big is obviously around cost savings and organization for the companies out there today. But I believe that, you know, the next quarter, we're going to probably see an explosion of these deals start to come in. And I'm also seeing the trusted advisor seat at the table of all of the enterprise communities get bigger and bigger as they are becoming the architects of this next revolution.
Yeah, Adam, what are partners telling you as far as the economy goes? What do they think?
You know, what's interesting is the comments are all over the map, but when you take it in aggregate, we're in a unique position where we can hear a lot of those voices. We see registrations. And I'll take your bait on the political answer.
Thank you.
I think, you know, as Justin said, the channel thrives in a downturn. Turns out we thrive in an upswing as well. Whenever there's change, you know, the channel is going to thrive because businesses are looking to make decisions. Where we stall out is when there's indecision and uncertainty. And I think number one, January what we saw was a lot of hesitation. Tariff conversation has created a lot of conversation. What's so unique about this time, and the most unique I've seen in my life, is it is the most exhilarating, exciting AI future, new product, innovation, just wild in the Bay Area. It's just like, when the web came out. But then the other side, at the same time, you've got this panic of job loss and tariffs and inflation and deficit. And so you've got these, two poles of happening at the same time, which is just wild. And so that's what I think. Whenever we've seen a pause, kind of like if you look back in COVID, the pause took place when everyone was uncertain, said, "Oh, what do we do now?" When it became clear what we need to do, it took off like a rocket ship. And I think the best description was the demand curve shifts to the right. Same demand, like Drew said, same demand curve. You're going to see probably a bigger demand curve, but that indecision causes people to go, hang on, should I be implementing AI? Do I know what AI is? Is my data even ready? Like, so many questions about execution and things getting put on pause. I think that's how I would summarize it. Like I said, so many different individual experiences taking place, but in aggregate, I think uncertainty has been the bigger influence over opportunity and cost savings right now. But I do think all of those themes are going to take off like a rocket, both cost savings and innovation. And like Drew said, the technology advisor is in the prime position to educate and say, no, we're watching it happen. Your peers are doing this. Let me help you get there.
There's so few industries where, complexity and uncertainty benefit you.
Yeah, right.
It benefits us. And
Yeah,
like, if you think about it, it's like, oh, it's scary out there. Yeah, it is. It's changing rapidly. But boy, does that fuel the trusted advisor every single time. And to me, I think you're going to see a boom from it. You really are.
Excellent. Anybody else want to jump in on that? Renee, I saw you nodding.
Yeah, I was going to make exactly the same comment. I think that what we've all seen is that these situation of uncertainty, and that's exactly where the trusted advisor reinvents themselves. They look to other competencies to develop, other technologies to learn and master, other avenues to open out. And my bet is that they're going to invest in AI right now. If they feel uncertain about the technology they sell today, one thing is certain: this potential economic downturn is going to fuel demand for AI to, levels that we can't even imagine.
I'm glad you said AI, because that will be a nice transition, as we can't get away with not talking about AI. So how are you incorporating it into your TSD platforms to support technology advisors in quoting training and account management? And what impact are you seeing so far? Also, not just with AI, but feel free to talk about any new tools or enhancements you've launched this year to help advisors be more productive, deliver a better customer experience, or close deals faster. I'll kind of open it up to all of you. Paul, why don't you start that one?
Yeah, sure. So we are currently using some AI tools internally right now, and we've automated our incoming quotes and orders. We use AI to route those quotes and orders to the right resource on our operations team to make sure that we can turn things around quicker, more efficiently for our partners. We're taking all the education and training content that we've created and that we aggregate from all of our suppliers. We're using AI internally to generate sales guides and better content, maybe than we've ever had before, through Intelisys University, knowledge management systems with that AI wrapper. And again, all of this is being done internally because we want to make sure before we roll it out externally that we've got it nailed. And it's going to be an iterative process. But again, we're well on down the road. We're working on some external things, probably things you'll see in the second half of this year around AI for our partner community. But just tools in general, we got some great feedback along the way about some of our tools that we've had in the marketplace for a long time. We did a really, really conscious and intentional upgrade to them last year. We rolled it out at Channel Connect. We have a new Simply Quote system. We rolled it out knowing that it wasn't the finished product. And again, we like to bring things out and then iterate. We've done 17 updates since the first of the year to the new Simply Quote system. So again, we're investing in tools and resources that can help our partners operate more efficiently. AI is just critical, using it internally, rolling it out externally. And that's not even the opportunity in the marketplace. I'll hand that off to one of my peers to handle that one. But yeah, that's what we're doing with AI at Intelisys.
Excellent. Justin, what's the AI look for you guys?
So I think one of the areas we've made the biggest investments as an organization in my 5 years plus here at Sandler is around technology and innovation and development and building tools like Scout for Solutions, Solution Finder. Our commission assurance back office is leveraging AI, not just to make sure that folks are paid on time, but accurately, and keeping them aware of changes to commission flow as it goes from a deal to a provider to billing. And that gets complicated at times, right? Not everyone pays on billing anymore, right? There's pay on collected. There's annual prepay, right? So AI plays a big part in our commission assurance. Um, like well, maybe a little bit of what Paul said, there are tools in development right now, Chat GPT functionality in the portal. There's more to come. And on a personal note, I've been working out with AI Drew every morning, so I get my fix daily.
Love that. Drew, you guys have been doing tools for quite some time. What's the AI look like for you?
It's yeah, AI Drew. Thanks, Morano. He was pretty beefy and scary in the first iteration. Second guy slimmed down a little. You know, for us, we've been building customer-facing tools for 15 years. And if everybody on here knows one thing, data is the new oil. And you can't do anything by just slapping AI tools onto other things. You need to have the data organized. You need to have it structured. We're so privileged to have Chris Warpy, our Chief Technology Officer, Jake Schumann, who runs Pathfinder for us, and this incredible dev team that we have internally. And one thing that they like to pound into my head every day is that as much as I want to run as fast as humanly possible with AI, we've got to get the data structured properly and we've got to do it right. And the one thing that AVANT has done is accumulated data in a way that no one else has. Because we're plugged into the trusted advisors to the end customer, we're seeing data through our IQA technology, which is essentially an RFP killer in a way that no one else is. We created the first net promoter score inside of Pathfinder, powered by the trusted advisor. We just released Atlas, the first tool ever created that layers data center and connectivity around the world to give the trusted advisors a completely different talk track. And we've moved off of Salesforce, which is slow, hard to move onto an Azure platform, which has been a journey for us. And hats off to our dev team internally and our entire technology team of pulling off that feat. We released Atlas this week, which is kudos to them. And you're going to see some really big things come from AVANT based on that data that we have been collecting and putting together in an organized fashion to be able to allow us to take advantage of this new technology.
Big things. Love to hear it. Our senior news editor, James Anderson, who you know well, is watching this. So be sure to connect with him, Drew, on this big stuff. We'll get it out there on Channel Features.
All right.
Adam, I'm thinking that GeoQuote is probably older than some people watching this. So you guys are obviously tool experts over there at Telarus. AI and what you're doing there.
Sure. I think sometimes, AI can be a solution looking for a problem. And I think if you're not careful with it, you can end up in the wrong direction. We found this with robotic process automation years ago when we put that in place, is that it created more work because they were hardened processes. One of the great things about LLMs is they've proved to not just be chatbots, but logic engines as well that can plug into different data sets and not just create chat, but to create decision matrices to push out to other elements of the system. And what we found is in our testing, what we have got to make sure of is that we're getting accurate information to advisors, not hallucinations. which when we test different tools side by side, that's one of the things we're putting guardrails around, because their brand is their reputation. It's do people trust them? And our brand, therefore, is the reputation and the data which we put in front of them. So I think there's a lot of concern around, hey, are customers going to go and use ChatGPT and get educated? And the answer is yes, they are, on marketing information, on scraped websites, on everyone who's now optimizing. It's not SEO anymore, it's GEO. So marketing teams are optimizing for generative AI to make sure they appear well and are spoken well about. But what you really need is the data, the objective transactional data that we possess, and the experiential data through sales opportunities, through experiences, through implementations, that all feeds in to this engine. So our 2-year journey on data cleansing and new platform was complete. We launched our new platform actually public facing in March. And we've been able to move a lot faster, about over 100 updates since March, that we've continued to add features and functionality to partners. But as far as AI, you've got both internal facing efficiency AI tools like in commissions, deciding which anomalies you find are worth tracking down, because it's not just a cash-based provider that gapped up a month, but it is truly an anomaly you can go pursue and find payment for the advisor. And automation of order entry, more data collection because it's not done manually. But then externally, what we're being very cautious of in the tools we're developing for partners is making sure that it is going from experiential and objective data and guarding for hallucinations. I think that's going to be the trick for each of us, since we're based on trust, that the information has got to be correct and we can't handle that risk. So I think as tools come out, that's going to be the yardstick on which they're measured, is can I depend on this, and does this make me look better in front of the customer?
Super important point, the reliability. Absolutely. Let's go all the way around the horn. Renee, I'll let you jump in on this topic.
Yeah, we've been investing a ton in AI for several years. So today, we have a large number of embedded AI agent into just about every advisor and customer-facing process or features and technologies, from quoting, whether it's connectivity or cloud, to ordering, and a lot more. But I think, to be honest, that the most interesting AI agents we've deployed to our advisor communities are the ones that help them sell, like a marketing specialist AI, software engineering, or AIs that are specialized in our key providers, where partners can get all the information they need about the product. And I think, as some of my colleagues have stated, that's been kind of the first generation of use of AI. But what I think is the real game changer here is our AI platform, devs.ai, which we launched publicly in 2024. And I think what the game changer part of devs.ai is that it solves a very obvious problem that all businesses are facing today. I don't know if everyone knows that, but there's actually, on average, 2 new LLMs that are released every single week. And so the cost for any business that started early, the cost of maintaining their old models are already skyrocketing. There are businesses that have tech debt or AI debt already. And, that's the problem that our devs.ai platform solves by aggregating more than 40 LLMs today. And we continue to add them as they come out, making these available seamlessly in a single platform with no code and pro code agentic tools. If I can build an AI, and anyone can, right? Which, really allows our advisors to deploy AIs with enterprise-grade security. I was talking to one this morning that used the platform with their sales team and have gotten benefit internally. But in turn, that knowledge base has enabled their sales team to talk intelligently about AI, and already they're seeing opportunity within their customer base. So I'm super bullish about how AI is going to help our partners, expand their business significantly.
Good answer, Renee. I'm not sure I could build an AI agent, but hopefully the partners in the audience can figure that out for sure.
Can you give you access to devs.ai? You'll see. You can do it.
There you go. Okay, let's stay on the topic of technology a little bit here. Curious what solutions you see right now as being the hottest out there. What's driving the majority of revenue for your tech advisors? And are you seeing more demand for vertical specific solutions, say in healthcare, education, that sort of thing? And how are you equipping your partners to meet these evolving needs? I'd love for you all to jump in on this one. So Adam, let's start with you.
Sure. I think there's a tendency to talk about the new, but I'm going to go in reverse and what is driving the engine. We should never forget network. Network is still such a massive opportunity. When you think about what AI is doing, it is increasing the demand for both network and data center. And those two offerings, are fundamental offerings. Sometimes we stop talking about them because we're excited to talk about what's next. But I think we need to recognize that those are going to continue to be an incredible opportunity, and we are positioned to really shine there. What our research shows is that continually mid-enterprise and enterprise looking for security and help there and AI. But when you dig down into AI, I think where the real opportunity there today is more data readiness. And then, there are certainly AI applications, but that's what we find when we're having those conversations.
All right. Who else? Paul?
Yeah, sure. And so just double down on what Adam said. I mean, he's 100% spot on that this is almost a renaissance in some ways to the legacy parts of our business, the parts of our business that maybe aren't quite as sexy as others, but really they're the conduit for everything that is required in this new AI world. So yeah, we're seeing the same thing, that resurgence of network, secure network to be sure now, but still the resurgence of network. And then on top of that, we've all experienced, the explosion in growth in the CX space, the security space, mobility, cloud. We created at Intelisys centers of excellence. So we have an advanced technologies team. We've got teams in each of those 4 key stacks that are in place to specifically sell with our customers, to help our customers, our sales partners, when they find opportunities that may be a little outside their comfort zone, hold their hand through the opportunity, help them scope it out, help them do supplier selection, help them make sure that they're doing the best job they can do as a trusted advisor with the end customer, and then ultimately engage the right suppliers to make sure the deal comes to fruition. But those are really the key areas. But I think Adam's spot on with that kind of resurgence in the network and connectivity space.
How about for the rest of you? Similar story, Drew? Something different?
It's if you look at each category, and I completely agree with Adam. It's funny. What's been around a long time is cool again. Who would have thought aggregators are one of the coolest things out there right now, and their values that they're creating? Connectivity is up, but everything is changing in the way that people are thinking about it. I think, Craig, you even mentioned it in the questions you sent to us that almost 70% of telecom transactions in the United States now are coming through this channel. Kudos to everybody. I mean, what a feat for all of us to get to that point. And I think, all of us will agree, we're not even close to being done yet. But if you look at every category, everything is going through a change right now. Some of the biggest contracts in telecom, for instance, are coming up, right? Some of the biggest MPLS deals are coming up. Everybody is looking to make a change in that connectivity, and that will be vital for this industry to continue to have the biggest seat at the table around those conversations for what's to come in the future. Data center, the same thing. I mean, we're honored to be, 6 years in a row, Equinix's largest partner in the world. We believe the data center space is just continuing to be white hot for every customer that's setting themselves up for the future. The as a service space isn't slowing down, it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger. They're taking advantage of the embedded AI now like never before, and building and racking and stacking your own complexity is a 10-year playbook, and you're terminally ill and you don't even know it. And so the trusted advisor's job is to educate the world on there's a better way. And I think last but not least, into the newer stuff, cybersecurity. I mean, I looked at a statistic just last year, and we look to crush that this year. Over 360 trusted advisors sold high-end cybersecurity through us last year, and that's a huge feat. You know, I had a lot of trepidation thinking about cybersecurity, whether or not this channel was going to embrace it, and they have proven that. And it's a kudos to our team and the people that we've built inside of AVANT to help that movement. Everything right now is about education. I cannot stress that enough. I know people talk about events and event, fatigue. That's all changing. It's changing into super hardcore training that allows you to know a little bit about a lot, to be able to really take advantage of that seat that you have in the decision-making process at the enterprise to help them navigate this choice world that we live in.
Justin, how about you?
Really all the above, what they said. It's infrastructure, it's network, it's security, it's AI, it's CX, it's CCaaS. You know, they're all opportunities for our partners. It's a healthy blend across the board. The deal sizes are getting bigger because bigger customers are recognizing the channel as a viable resource to help procure their technology.
Renee, any different perspective from you?
No, I agree. I mean, connectivity is cool again. Similarly, we're seeing growth in data center security, mobility, cloud, obviously. Maybe I'll double down, though, on what Drew was talking about. You know, this expansion of the catalog is a wonderful opportunity for advisors, but at the same time, you got to learn how to sell these solution. There's different paths to successful outcome in sales. And so we're seeing the events completely transforming, and, a huge focus around the training, but specifically like selling training, right? So we run these emerging tech workshops that are focused on how to sell the emerging technology. We take them on the road to all the cities in the US, and they're just sold out. And we've got our upcoming annual event, Thrive, at the end of August in Austin. And again, I think we run 30 to 40 different training sessions. So it's really key, I think, as we expand the portfolio, that we make sure we have the right level of training so partners can successfully grab the opportunity.
All right, I want to be respectful of time here. Didn't tell you this was coming, but want to give you each 30 seconds to sort of give a wrap up and maybe your best advice to your partners in 2025. Drew, you look ready to answer this question, so congratulations. You get the first shot at it.
Never stop learning. Throw yourself into all of the radical change that's happening, knowing about everything from a consumer-based AI platform to the business, side of the house is so important. And in wrapping, I just can't stress enough. I hope to see everybody that got on here, maybe besides this panel, to attend our Special Forces event, September 15th through the 18th in Dallas, Texas. We are so thrilled to have thousands of the trusted advisors show up to really do a hardcore training on what's coming next. We have some of the biggest keynote speakers coming. I'm really looking forward to it, so I hope to see you there.
All right, Paul, final thoughts.
Yeah, sure. One of the most exciting things about being in this industry is it's big, it's growing fast, and there's tons of opportunity. All of us on this call, we all compete with each other, but we can all be wildly successful and not at the expense of each other. The pie is growing so fast that the piece of the pie can grow just as fast. And so my advice to the channel is, and to the TAs is, just focus. Don't worry about the guy across the street. Just be the best you that you can be, and come in every day with that mindset and train yourself. Take advantage of all the opportunities that all of us on this call provide to get educated, to expand your horizons, whether it's technology training, whether it's new routes to market, whether it's new ways to transact business, and continue to evolve, and just worry about being the best you that you can be.
Great advice. Great advice. Justin.
Oh, wow. Well, first, thank you, Craig, and thank you to the AireSpring team. It always humbles me so much to be a part of such for being combined with such a great group of panelists. My advice to TAs is talk to us, right? Whether it's Sandler or AVANT or Intelisys or Telarus or AppDirect. The value that we bring to you is our knowledge of the technology, our knowledge of the providers that could help with that technology. For us, the partners are our customers. The end users are their customers. Help us put you in position to be the best possible trusted advisor for your customer. So just talk to us.
Adam.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I talk to advisors every day, and I find very different outlooks. The perspective, same environment, very different outlooks. Some are very concerned. Is the party over? Do I need to sell? Do I need to be done? Is this passing me by? And then there are others who started their business a couple years ago who are thinking, I cannot believe how big the opportunity is becoming. I would say I think the perspective you have is more reflection of you than of reality. And I would tell you that the opportunity is absolutely massive. And all you got to do is step in and take part of it. The resources available to you to help you get there have never been better. They've never been better of people there to assist you. And the opportunity in terms of what customers need has never been greater because it's getting more confusing, more complex for them. So dig in, and we're here for you.
All right, Renee, we started with you. We will conclude with you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that, Craig. My advice would be embrace AI. AI is a technology that is foundational and is here to stay in the same way that every other technology has been based on the web and eventually on cloud. It will be based on AI. And, I think I encourage partners to experiment. Go to devs.ai, sign up for a free account, and just build an AI agent for your personal life, for your own business, and learn with it. And then go talk to your customers about it. Because as you engage with customers on topic like AI, you are pulling in the entire technology stack with you. And that means the connectivity, the software, everything along the way. So embrace AI.
Excellent. Thank you so much, panelists. Thanks again to the team at AireSpring for having me as moderator. And Ellen, I'll kick it back to you.
Thank you. I'm trying to figure out how to turn my video camera back on. They'll continue to want to cooperate with me. But I guess maybe it died again. Unfortunately. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to the panelists today. Great information that you shared with everyone. And I appreciate that very, very much. For the attendees that are on the line, we have a survey for you. And we hope that you sincerely can fill out that survey and answer some questions about what you heard on the roundtable today and things we can do to improve it or possibly enhance it more, and things you liked and didn't like. But I think I found it. My video should come on just a second. So once again, thank you very much. We want to continue to do this. Hope you can join us again next year when we do this. And have a great rest of your day. Avi, do you want to say anything? Goodbye.
We're already way over. Thank you so much, everyone, for being on this panel. This was awesome. And the thing I heard the best that I liked was that connectivity is cool again. So I'm going to end with that thought as we wrap up here. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.